Welcome to Sports Extraordinary on Atlantic Television Network. My name is Kingsley Emmanuel, and it's another time where we bring you the latest revolving around the world of sports. Top 1 our minute this evening, Team Nigeria wins big in the World Powerlifting Championship. Coming in from the world of Formula One, Mercedes drivers extend their contracts. And in football, it is getting interesting already as the draw for the group stage of the UEFA Champions League has been revealed. These and many more will be yours after the short time out. Please stay with us. Extraordinary on Atlantic Television Network. We're here to bring you the latest revolving around the world of sports. It promises to be another exciting edition of the show. Joining me as well this evening to do justice on today's edition of the show is Peter Ayinda. Good evening to you, Peter, and welcome to Sport Extraordinary once again.
Thank you so much, Kingsley Emmanuel. Like I always say, it's always my pleasure to be here.
All right, it's getting interesting already. We told you earlier that the group stage draw of the UEFA Champions League has been reviewed, and we're going to take a look at the group from Group A down to the last. And I tell you, it's been an interesting one so far, and we'll see how the teams, of course, will progress, from the different groups. But before we do that, let's just bring you some athletic story. Team Nigeria won 7 medals comprising 2 gold, 2 silver, and 3 bronze at the just completed World Powerlifting Championship in Dubai, the United Arab Emirates. Peter, para sports always, are strict, whenever we get to a global stage like this.
It's an opportunity given to people who some persons in their own, thinking and their reasoning have to write them off. But these people believe that, yes, in every disability, that there is an ability. So like all that years, we have always represented very well. Even in Africa here at the world, short pace, we have always done well. It is not an easy thing for para, Olympic a team of Nigeria going far Saudi, United Arab Emirates to just get 7 medals in this particular championship. So for me, it's something that we need to appreciate these people, put more, is it money, whatever these people need, prepare them very well. When you are prepared for a championship, this is what you get. It is not easy. You have people from other parts of the world that were converged in that particular place and they represented their country. Good enough, we came back with 7 medals. It's not an easy one. These are people who believe that, okay, some persons say there is nothing again that will come up from them, but they harness themselves, put their, their house in order. Here they are giving Nigeria 7 medals in a championship of this particular, magnitude. So for me, it's something that is very commending. We have to invest more in these particular people just to make sure that, yes, in subsequent championship and competition, they should be able to come back with more medals.
Interesting one. Let's quickly start away from athletics as I'll take a look at Formula One as Lewis Hamilton and George Russell will continue as Mercedes driver line up for at least the next 2 years. Hamilton has signed a new contract that will extend his period with the team to 13 years and keep him in Formula One well past his 40th birthday. And Russell, who joined Mercedes in 2022, has also signed a 2-year deal. Now, the move confirmed pledges by Hamilton and team principal Toto Wolff that a new deal for the 7-time champion was only a matter of time this season. What do you make of this one? Interesting, if you ask me, it's an interesting move. Hamilton, of course, putting pen to paper once again, and his teammate George Russell. I
would say that Toto Wolff never wanted, Lewis Hamilton to retire elsewhere. This is a man who has made name for himself and for that particular team as far as Mercedes is concerned. So it's like rewarding him for the hard work, for the dedication and the commitment to the team. Since that was where he won the 7th championship as far as the driving competition is concerned. That is for Lewis Hamilton. It does not mean that this 2 years contract given to him will motivate him to begin to surpass or begin to get upper hand again where the likes of Max Verstappen the Red Bull is this particular season. So for me, Lewis Hamilton just got rewarded for what he has done for Mercedes. If you look at his performance in last years, you see that it has really dropped. And that is why some persons, will tell you that Lewis Hamilton is not a man we should be talking about now, because Red Bull and Max Verstappen has now climbed and they are doing a pretty job over there. It's a good thing for Lewis Hamilton. Age is no longer on his side. Let's just see. Like I made mention earlier, they never wanted him, to retire elsewhere. Let him retire with us as far as Mercedes is concerned. All right, let's see how it goes. Lewis Hamilton, of course, has actually put pen to paper down there in the Mercedes team. Keep our fingers crossed. It hasn't really been an easy ride for Lewis Hamilton since last season. He didn't win any race, last season, yeah. Even up to now, Max Verstappen of Red Bull still leading, and he hasn't won any race as well this season. We'll keep our fingers crossed and see what this new contract will be for Lewis Hamilton and his teammate George Russell. But let's quickly move on now to take a look at football on the show, and we'll start from the Spanish Football Federation, as we hear that the board of Spanish Football Federation President Luis Ribes has been discharged from hospital. Angelis Beja was admitted yesterday after locking herself in the church on Monday and going on hunger strike in protest at the treatment of her son. Ribes has been heavily criticized for kissing Spain Jenny Hermoso
of the lips after the World Cup final. And also said the key said during the presentation ceremony in Sydney on 20th August was not consensual. What do you make of this? Luis Robert's mother actually going through a tough time.
Just what we normally have in this part of the country, where mothers, take whatever that's happened to their children seriously to the heart. That is exactly what is playing out over there. She is not really happy with what is happening to her son, and going to church to lock herself up is also committing what is happening to her son into the able hands of God. Nothing Jehovah cannot do at this particular point in time. But just like you said, the criticism has been coming so heavily on him. Football is very emotional, especially when you get the exact result you had in mind. What happened to Luis Reveles is matter of emotion, but he would have taken into cognizance that he's a public figure, and there are things there are some art you don't put up as far as the public is concerned, and this has called for serious criticism. Some persons are telling him to resign, that somebody of his caliber is not supposed to be committed to such particular art. This is you're a national figure, so you have to control your emotion. The young girl involved, I come to say that it's not consensual. That means my reason was not actually sick for. It is what emotion can do you. But for me, let's see how it will pan out for him, but the calls have been coming that he should step down. It's like an embarrassment to the to the nation that someone who is representing us have to do this. Camera everywhere. The mother, good news, has recovered. We pray that the healing should be should be perfected. Let her not go back to hospital again.
Yeah. All right, sir. We'll see how that one go. But let's take a look at the England Hero qualifier squad, because the qualifiers will be coming up, and Gary Southgate, the coach of the side, has actually, of course, put up a 26-man squad, of course, for that particular qualifier that will be coming up. And taking a look at the list, from what we've seen so far, it's been an impressive, collection of players, we've seen from the squad put up by Southgate. A lot of persons are worried that Southgate is actually putting much loyalty to Harry Maguire, because he actually called him as well, for this one.
I will not say it's much loyalty. We say is understanding the quality of the young man involved. I was saying earlier today that I don't know why Southgate always have a very positive aspect of Maguire, which Erik ten Hag, who is the Manchester United coach, does not see in Maguire's form, always being caught up as far as the national duty is concerned. But this is a defender that has been heavily criticized as far as the club competition is concerned. This season, he hasn't started a match for Manchester United because of it. The coach said he's not performing very well. The likes of Rafael Varane and Lindelof and Martinez is now coming ahead of Maguire. Under Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, this is a regular start as far as the defensive line is concerned. When Erik ten Hag came up, we don't know what he saw that others coach saw in Maguire, that he became, I will not say that is a matter of hatred, but for me, there is a soft spot that Southgate has for Maguire. Maguire always performs at national, or let's call it national duty. Whenever he's called upon, you see him giving his best. Those mistakes and errors that people are saying that he always make at club level, you don't see him doing that at the club or national duty. So this could be the reason Southgate always bring Maguire. As he's also, in terms of leadership, some persons say he doesn't have leadership quality, but if you look at Maguire, he has this harnessing spirit. He knows how to put his players. When he was the captain of that particular England national team, you see him coordinating and every other. For me, I believe that I will not say it's a matter of loyalty. It's understanding the quality that Harry Maguire brings as far as the defense is concerned.
All right, sir, in goal, talking about the squad put together by Southgate. In goal, we have John Stone, Pickford, Ramsdale, and then the defense, there is Chilwell, Kobe, Donker, Kohi, Maguire, Tomori, Tripa, and Kyle Walker. And in midfield, we have Alexander Arnold, Jude Bellingham, Gallagher, Henderson, Philip, Declan Rice as well. And forward, Barry Chase is there, Phil Foden, Jack Grealish, Harry Kane, Madison, Eden Keter, Marcus Rashford, Bukayo Saka, and Wilson. So those are the players, of course, that has been put up upcoming qualifiers, and we'll see how this one go. There are persons that are also worried that Raheem Sterling is not, in this list.
I'm also surprised, as many persons are. I don't know if you look at the form of, Raheem Sterling as the Premier League just kicked off. You should be worried why he was not actually called up to the national team this particular, in this particular competition. I will not say that there should be any cause for alarm, because the coach really, knows what he wants and he goes for them. Raheem Sterling was not called, not because he's not in his best form. I believe there is something more to that. To Chelsea, they will say that he's a good one. The form he is, nobody knows if he got injured in the international duty. But for now, it's a good thing for them. There is an addition in this particular England squad that I'm also... Eberechi Eze, this is someone we have expected to actually see, of Nigerian descent. Now he has been caught up by Southgate, which means if he plays for England at this particular day, Eberechi Eze may now have opportunity to play for Nigeria again. Mike Guehin, that one of the defenders there, is of Ivory Coast, descent. He has been waiting for this particular national call from England over the years. Now, to him, it could be a dream come true for him. These are people who are of African origin, but the English national team have always, see them as prospects. They should be able to get into our system, and they have called them. They are very young. Eberechi Eze is a very fantastic player. We would have been very happy if he has chosen to play for the Super Eagles, but here to the Three Lions is a good one for him. Let's see if opportunity will be given to him to start in this Euro qualifier.
Interesting one so far, and let's move straight to the UEFA Champions League draw. The draw has been reviewed and is getting interesting already. We'll see how this one panned out. But Peter, quick one. In Group A, we have Bayern Munich, Manchester United, Copenhagen, and Galatasaray. As it stands. What do you make of that group?
On paper, it will be very easy for you to say that two teams that will qualify there, Bayern Munich and Manchester United, because they appear to be the heavy, weight in that particular group. Copenhagen and Galatasaray, they should not actually be a hard knock for Manchester United and Bayern Munich to crack. But football has a way of serving you with, unpleasant surprises. It's full of, should I say, expectation that can give you opportunity to get yourself worried. That is what I am sensing that could happen in this particular. Galatasaray will not be, should I say, we can't write them off. Look at the quality of players you have in Galatasaray this season. Do you know that Wilfried Zaha of Crystal Palace has gone to Galatasaray? You have a former, PSG striker in the person of Mario Icardi in that particular owner. You have fantastic players. Last season, they were very scintillating. So for me, Manchester United just need to make sure that they put their heads in order. Copenhagen is a team that can also give you the surprise of you cannot go to their home and give and decide that you can give them, a run for you can defeat them. So on paper, like I made mention earlier, you can single-handedly say that Manchester United and the Bayern Munich, you will qualify in that group. But our major concern now will be Bayern Munich and Manchester United, the first and the second leg. How will it be? Bayern this season, under Thomas Tuchel, has not actually been very fantastic, just like what we normally know them over the years. They have been struggling to win game. Now you have Manchester United. Eric Ten Hag has done some pretty job in this particular team, bringing new players, and they are gelling seriously. They are giving them what actually they want. So we are looking at for Manchester United and Bayern Munich, clash in this particular group. Anything that happens in that group, we have to blame one of the bigger, the big team. Manchester United and Bayern Munich qualifying in this particular group. Maybe Galatasaray coming third to go to the Europa competition or whatever that happens in Ghana. But I'm saying that Manchester United and Bayern Munich should come, qualify in this particular group.
Peter, much hope from you, for Manchester United. A whole lot of persons are really worried, especially the way Manchester United have actually started the season. Not really that, convincing. And the way they've actually gone about in getting players just to fortify the team for the season, as well as the UEFA Champions League competition. Do you think Ten Hag, do you think he has done enough, to put the team in order for the UEFA Champions League and as well the Premier League?
For Erik ten Hag, this is not the first time he is going to the prestigious competition in Europe. He has been there with Ajax. If you could remember, where they did something very pretty when he was at particular side. So if you look at the players at Manchester United, they are players that have Champions League experience. Casemiro has won Champions League almost 3 to 4 times with Real Madrid. To tell you the wealth of experience he's coming into as far as Champions League is concerned. Bruno Fernandes has been playing Champions League before he came to Manchester United. Mention players over there. When this guy, Eriksen, has played Champions League football. So mention these are players, Martial, is it Rashford, they have been there. So I believe players terms, Manchester United is 45 for this UEFA Champions League, qualification and getting them to any stage they want to get. The coach is experienced. He has been in UEFA Champions League. He has played most of these particular teams. So for me, in all ramification, in terms of the coaching, technique, ability, and everything, Erik ten Hag is ready. And Manchester United players are ready for this year UEFA Champions League.
All right, we'll see how this one will go down. Talking about Group A, we have Bayern Munich, Manchester United, Copenhagen, and Galatasaray as well. And a whole lot of persons are rooting for the likes of Bayern Munich and Manchester United, of course, to be the two teams, to qualify from that particular group. Of course, we should expect some shocks, some surprises as well in this one. Bayern Munich last season were not that fantastic on that Thomas Tuchel in the Champions League.
That is exactly what I made mention earlier. And
don't forget some of their players that have left. The likes of Sadio Mane.
Sadio Mane has left.
We know he wasn't that very instrumental.
Yes, Benjamin Pavard has also left to Inter Milan, but they have got a goal puncher in the person of Harry Kane. If everything goes well for Manchester, for Bayern Munich, they should actually represent Germany very well in this year UEFA Champions League. But the issue is the level of their inconsistency is what is giving some persons concerned. And they are playing against, I would say, a disciplined Manchester United. If you look at Manchester United last season, they did pretty well. But towards the end of the season, they were actually being punished for their inconsistency. But thank God they finished third. They were able to finish in Champions League in the sports in Premier League. So to tell you that they have also brought new players this particular season. So for Bayern Munich, this is the only thing I believe they may not be very outstanding as they were or they have been over the years in UEFA Champions League. They are the only thing that can outscore their opponents. The last time, there is no English team that they have played that they did not outscore. Ask Arsenal about them. Also ask Chelsea about them. So these are the teams that have faced in the Bayern Munich. They didn't find it very funny. So Manchester United just get to put their house in order. This particular Bayern Munich under Thomas Tuchel is not that fantastic. We have seen Bayern under Pep. We have seen Bayern under Carlo Ancelotti. We have seen Bayern under which other coach again. They have been very, very fantastic under those coaches. But for me, Man U should be able to face Bayern Munich and get something from them.
All right, we'll see how that one goes. That's for Group A. Talking about the UEFA Champions League group stage draw. But for Group B, we have Sevilla and Arsenal, and as well PSV, ROC Lens from France. That's a very huge one. The team coming from the French Ligue 1. But Peter, that's the setting, of course, for Group B: Sevilla, Arsenal Football Club, PSV, and ROC Lens from the French Ligue 1. How do you see that particular group?
Arsenal will qualify. If you look at it, some persons may say that this group looks like a Europa League group. Definitely. But all the same, I will always use the term on paper. The reason why we always say on paper is because some persons can easily give Arsenal and Sevilla to qualify to the next stage in this particular group. Look at PSV, Eindhoven, that team is from the Netherlands. You have Lens from French League On. These are teams that just qualified because the teams that normally come to Champions League in this particular, should I call leagues, did not actually perform well very. It's been a while that Lens came to Champions League. These are players that always qualify for Europa when there was Europa. When Europa was Europa, you see them qualifying. Now you have Europa Conference. You see teams that don't have that particular capacity to come to Champions League qualifying for Europa and Europa Conference. So for me, Arsenal should be the king of this particular group. But football has a way of giving you, what you don't expect. Every team in Europe is every day fortifying their teams. It will be very surprising to see how Lens and PSV will give this Arsenal and Sevilla a run for their money. Sevilla has always been very, should I say, favorite team when it comes to Europa competition. Maybe they may falter for them to go back to where they normally do well. Each time they are eliminated from the Europa Champions League, you see them go to Europa, and they don't just go down at Europa. They must get to the final of Europa. So maybe this particular fortune may play out for them this particular year. They may falter. You see Arsenal, PSV, or Lens, first and second. They're going to, going to Europa to continue doing what they know how to do. But on paper and by powerhouse, in terms of money and caliber of player, if we begin to measure players head to head, PSV and Lens may not have the same may not have the quality players that Arsenal and Sevilla may have. So if you look at Arsenal this particular season, Arsenal has done a nice recruitment. Good players have come, experience, and you have Champions League experienced players in that matter. Jorginho was one time Europa, best player. You have Kai Havertz, who has scored Champions League winning goal when he was in Chelsea. So when it comes to experience, Arteta has played in UEFA Champions League. So I believe if you look at Bukayo Saka, if you look at Martinelli, if you look at the time, Partey has been Champions League regular when he was at Atletico Madrid. So when it comes to experience-wise, Arsenal is stuck with it. And they can use this experience to make sure that we have not been in UEFA Champions League for a longer time. So let us make mark as far as this is concerned. Going to the group stage, let us get to the round 16 and get to wherever we want to go. Where we begin to measure Arsenal's worth is from round 16, quarter final and semi-final. But as far as the group stage is concerned, you see Arsenal coming ahead of every other team.
Interesting one. I'll keep our fingers crossed on it, and I tell you, it's really an interesting group at the moment where Arsenal found themselves. They'll be playing against a team like Sevilla, PSV, and also ROC Lens. So it promises to be an exciting one. Let's see how Arsenal will be able to navigate themselves, from this one. And then for Group C, we have Napoli, Real Madrid, FC Braga, and Union Berlin. Union Berlin, of course, making their debut in the UEFA Champions League.
They will be the whipping boys.
Are you sure?
I may be forced to withdraw the statement later, but as far as the group is concerned, you see them as the whipping boys. Braga, they are not that regular UEFA Champions League customers, but on paper, definitely, Kingsley, you see Napoli and Real Madrid. But the question will be, who will be ahead? Is it Madrid or Napoli? Last season, Napoli did pretty well. Madrid could not actually, get to. Madrid also did well last year UEFA Champions League. So for me, you see Napoli and Real Madrid fighting who will take the first spot as far as the group is concerned. Braga and Union Berlin may be the whipping boys in this particular group. If you look at Bayern, if you look at Real Madrid this particular season they have signed not much players, but bringing Jude Bellingham to that particular midfield is also fantastic. They have a left back they signed from Atletico Bilbao this particular season. So they have fortified the group, knowing too well that the likes of Toni Kroos and Luka Modric have come of age. Age is no longer on their side. So you see Bellingham, you see Tchouaméni, and you see Camavinga in the midfield. So Don Carlo Ancelotti is still on that particular side. This is a man who has the experience as far as coaching is concerned. Napoli has a new coach in the person of Rudi Garcia. Rudi Garcia was with Monaco before he went to Saudi Arabia. Now he came back to take part or to become the coach of that Napoli side. Napoli last season, courtesy of Osimhen, they were able to lift the Scudetto over how many years? So for me, this Group C, you see Real Madrid and Napoli coming first. So whoever that pull, either Braga and Union Berlin may actually go either Europa or wherever they want to go. But I know of sure Real Madrid and Napoli. But the question is who will tap in the group.
Do you think much work now for Victor Osimhen? He's now the #1 man, down there in FC Napoli. Last season, he helped them to win the Italian Serie A. And this is another season. And I think at this moment, they should be looking forward to going, maybe get to
the objective of that particular team this season. They were up to the quarterfinal last season. And Osimhen, I believe he has already, started hitting the ground. He has at least 2 goals in as far as Serie A is concerned this particular season. He is a goal puncher, and I believe his contribution can get Napoli to wherever they want to go. If the coach should be able to get the tactics right, know who to introduce, that is not a problem. Osimhen is a natural goal scorer. And he knows how to position. Once opportunity comes, he doesn't squander. He gives you, this is why he's being paid. Just score the goal, give us. Last season, number of goals scored was actually what made, Napoli to even win the league. They still have at least 6 or 7 matches to play when they won that particular league. So for me, the objective of Napoli this particular season, we have broken that particular record of not winning the Scudetto for almost 11 years. Now, our target, let us know what to do to get far as far as the UEFA Champions League is concerned. If they should get to the final, it should be a very good one. But with Osimhen, I believe Napoli can go far as far as the UEFA Champions League is concerned.
All right, let's quickly move down to the next group. As I'll take a look at Group D at the moment. That group, of course, have Benfica and Inter Milan, RB Salzburg, and Real Sociedad. Those are the teams, of course, in that group: Benfica, Inter Milan, RB Salzburg, and Real Sociedad. Peter.
Well, Inter Milan and Benfica, I would say they are the powerhouses as far as that particular group is concerned. Benfica, this particular season, I know they have allowed some of their players to go. Gomez, who was their highest goal scorer last season, has gone to PSG this particular season. And thank to whoever that brought their former player, that is Angel Di Maria, is back to that Benfica side. So we cannot take anything away from them. As Europe is concerned, they have also made name. They have also shown that they have what it takes to get anywhere they want to get as far as UEFA Champions League is concerned. But you still have Inter Milan. Inter Milan, there is no Lukaku in Inter Milan this particular season. Yeah. There is no certain Edin Dzeko in Inter Milan this season. The question, who will do more of the scoring? Lautaro Martinez is not a striker you can rely on. You still have, they have this person now. Like Pavard actually went there. It's like Thuram has gone from Borussia Mönchengladbach to Inter Milan. He's also a goal scorer. But Inter, with what I have seen, may not be as strong as they were last season, because 2 of their renowned goal scorers are no longer there. Yes, Kahangalan is still in that particular team. Mkhitaryan is still in that particular team. These are players that have been... Gossien has left to Union Berlin this particular season. So they still have players that were there last season. On paper, like I made mention earlier, you see Real Sociedad should not be a problem for these 2 teams. And Salzburg is a team we have to look at. They are full of very young team from Austria, and they have always proven that with the young team they can do better things. Now the Swiss of Nigerian descent, that is Enua Okafor. Enua Okafor of Salzburg is no longer. He has gone to AC Milan. This is one of the strikers that have always been doing well for them. But I cannot write Salzburg off. They still have, name. They still have mark to make as far as that group is concerned. But if you go head to head, I still believe that Benfica and Inter Milan should qualify in Group D.
All right, let's see how it goes at the end of the day. We'll keep our fingers crossed when the matches, starts. That's when we'll know who, of course, will get past, each other in that group. We'll take a short break now. When we'll come back from this break, of course, we'll do justice to the other group. Please stay with us. Sports Extraordinary on the Atlantic Television Network. And we're taking a look at the UEFA Champions League group stage draw that has been concluded and is getting very much interesting already. And of course, we're actually taking a look at Group D, where we have Benfica, Inter Milan, and RB Salzburg, Real Sociedad as well. But Peter, let's take a look at Group E. We have Feyenoord, Atletico Madrid, Lazio, and Celtic, in that particular, group. This might not really be, a very, very strong group, but at least, we have to get two teams that will qualify from that one. Then, who are you taking from here? Atletico Madrid, of course, should be one. There should be one team that should, skate through from this group.
We agree with you because the names, the club, or the teams in that particular group, are not that, should I say, that strong, so to say, to give to muzzle out Atletico Madrid. But there is something Jose Mourinho will always tell you, that in football, there is nothing that is impossible as far as football is concerned. It is a game that can give you, the shock of your life. So if Atletico Madrid, look at Feyenoord, they were able to wrestle the, the Netherlands trophy from the regular, trophy lifter, that is Ajax, this particular season, to tell you that their coach and the players did a pretty job last season for them to merit that particular spot of the Champions League. So knowing where that we have qualified for the Champions League, I believe they have done preparation ahead. So everything is prepared. It's just that it is the level of the preparation you've given to yourself or the quality of players you have. Atletico Madrid this particular season, I will say that if better precaution is not taken, they may not qualify first in that particular group, even if they will qualify. Other teams in that particular group can give them a run for their money, but the only thing we can pick out on paper is that Atletico Madrid and who else or any other team can follow them and qualify.
All right, let's move straight now to Group F. As that group, we have Paris Saint-Germain, Borussia Dortmund as well, AC Milan, and Newcastle United. Peter, what do you make of this group? Looking very, very strong.
Very strong. Of all the group we have actually looked at, this group seems to be the group of death, so to say, because every team in this particular group is of worthy to mention as what? Power hearts. Look at PSG. Look at Borussia Dortmund. Look at AC Milan. If you look at the past glory of these particular teams, you will say that, yes, they have, it is worthy to say they are a group of death, apart from Newcastle United. They are they are teams that always come to UEFA Champions League, and they have always made mark. PSG, under Mauricio Pochettino, Carlo Ancelotti, Thomas Tuchel, tried lifting, but they could not lift the trophy. Now, it is a lot of work on the shoulder of Luis Enrique, who is their new coach. Now, if you look at the PSG team, most players that were in the team last season are no longer here. There is no certain Neymar, there is no Messi, there is no Sergio Ramos. And with all indication, it's like Janadom will leave that particular team before the end of the transfer. There is intention that he may go to Saudi Arabia. There is a call for him over there. Now, if you look at Borussia Dortmund, it is only their midfielder, that is Joe Bellingham, that left. But they have also made some recruitments in that particular team. Now, look at AC Milan. AC Milan last season, yes, they were in the UEFA Champions League last season, but they could not get to where we expected them to get to. They were in round 16 by their fellow Italian, that is Napoli, last particular season. Now, if you look at AC Milan this season, yes, good signings have been made. They brought in people that have Champions League experience. Look at the Captain America, that is Christian Pulisic from Chelsea. Right from his days at Borussia Dortmund, he has been going to Champions League. He came to Chelsea, has been going to Chelsea. Look at Ruben Loftus-Cheek of Chelsea midfield also. Now, they brought in certain Nigerian player, that is Samuel Chikwueze on that particular side. Noah Okafor from Salzburg has also come to that AC Milan side. So AC Milan knew that, okay, this should be our target this particular season. Let us go far as far as Champions League is concerned. Even if it gets to the quarter-final or semi-final, with the crop of players at AC Milan, the group will be very tough. PSG may not say no. Dortmund will prove that, yes, we have what it takes to also qualify in the group. So the only team I am having feelings for is Newcastle. Newcastle appears, in terms of team, in quotes, they may be the whipping boys. But if you look at it very well, in terms of spending and crop or quality players provided, Newcastle also have one. Tonali from AC Milan, yes, from AC Milan to Newcastle. Now, they have made some signings. The reason why Trippier came last particular season was fruitful. For good 22 or 23 years, we have not seen Newcastle play Champions League football. And that's last season, it paid up because of signings. Bringing in Alexander Isak from Leicester last season with such amount of money. And just look at the signing of Joelinton in that particular scene. Gumeresh from the Brazilian international they signed. So if you look at the team this particular season, you say that most of the signings they did last season and this particular season is for these particular purpose. And now the time has come for them to prove themselves. I say that they may be, but the precaution is not taken. The precaution is not taken. This team, PSG, Dortmund, and AC Milan, may suffer defeat in the hands of Newcastle. Football is very competitive. And if you look at this particular team too, you will understand that players head-to-head, we have players that went to a team with such amount of money. Alexander Isak came to Newcastle, almost 60-something million pounds. If you look at head-to-head, you know that, yes, we have strong players in that particular team. The defense line, what is happening? Newcastle is also fortified. Now, they have taken Chelsea, Luis Hall on loan. They have signed Livramonte from Southampton, right back. So they know that this is what we are preparing for. So each position, you have 2 or 3 players mounting it in case of injury. So Newcastle may disappoint people, especially those people who think that they find themselves in a group of death, that this may happen to them. I see Newcastle as a team that can surprise these big boys as far as the team is concerned, this group is concerned.
All right, let's move on to Group G. Yes, Manchester City, RB Leipzig, and Vensda, young boys. Of course, they are the teams that occupy that particular group. This seems to be an easy group for Manchester City.
Express. Pep Guardiola and his boys. If this is the only stage they have to play, you can say that Man City can lift UEFA Champions League again. But it is not yet an uhuru for them. If you look at the group, the group he just scored, Manchester City, RB Leipzig, you still have young boys. These are teams that Manchester City, home and away, they can pick up points from them. Even if it's not 3 points, even if the second, should I say, the second team of Manchester City can play these boys and get points from them. If you look at it very well, if not just what Jose Mourinho will say, that as far as football is concerned, there is nothing impossible. So, 2 seasons ago, young boys, 2 or 3 seasons ago, young boys found themselves in the same group with Manchester United when they were coming there, and it was a shock to us. So, for me, don't write anybody off. I believe that Pep Guardiola, I know, he doesn't take any match for granted. And Champions League is like what they called him for, to win. I can say, I have won it. Maybe I have to rest. I don't think he has to. If it will take him to win Champions League 3 good times or 4 times for Manchester City, for their neighbors to keep calm, he will do it. Sure. So for me, it is a competition that Manchester City recruited Pep Guardiola for. It's not to give us Premier League. Yes, Roberto Mancini gave us Premier League. Pellegrini gave us Premier League. Pep, we know, come for Champions League, and he has done that. If opportunity or Providence usher them the opportunity, you can see that Manchester City, they are on the verge of another Champions League trophy.
All right, sir, let's take a look at Group H as Barcelona, of course, are in that group. Porto are in that group. Shakhtar Donetsk are in that group. Antwerp as well in that group. Last season wasn't a very good season for Barcelona in the Champions League. Do you think they stand a chance this season?
They are still struggling as far as we are talking. It was not an easy one for them as the league just started. Barca is still struggling. So for me, it's just that their opponent may reason the name Barcelona and fear them for that, respect them much for that. if you take out the respect of the name Barcelona, I believe every other team in this group should be able to give them a run for their money. Barcelona is not as good as they were. Lewandowski is of age. He doesn't have that agility again. If you look at the way he's playing this particular season, you will know that Barcelona is clamoring for a new striker. Ousmane Dembele is no longer on that particular side. As we hear, maybe Ansu Fati may get to Brighton before the end of this particular summer transfer window. He may go to that particular. Now there are players Javi may rely on this particular season. Barca may receive a shock as far as this group is concerned. But look at the people they are playing with. Royal Antwerp of Belgium. Barca can travel to Belgium to get 3 points. They can come to Camp Nou and get their 3 points. Look at the other team in that particular group. So for me, Barca stands out to come out of this particular group if they play their game very well. On paper, you can give Barcelona to qualify first. Any other team in that group can join them to round 16.
Interesting one. Let's say it goes. That's the way the group, of course, has been shaped. And we'll keep our fingers crossed and see how the matches, of course, would look like. But there were some UEFA award as Pep Guardiola actually took the UEFA Men's Coach. Make of this feat as well for Pep.
That is deserving. Nobody should, drag that with him. It is not an easy task. Taking your team for the first time, they have not won UEFA Champions League. And we always attribute the brilliance and the success of every team to the coach. So for me, it's a deserving one for Pep Guardiola.
Deserving one for Pep Guardiola. And a UEFA Women's Coach of the Year went to Serena Wigman of England.
That is another deserving. She has always, doing pretty well all this year. So, Kingsley, I believe they did not do any mistake at all.
And talking about UEFA Men's Player of the Year, went to Erling Braut Haaland. He defeated Messi to win this one.
That is also deserving. Haaland surprised everybody. When he was at Borussia Dortmund, we always believed that, that particular league, things are easy. When he comes to a league where we call the toughest league in the world, that is Premier League, and then Haaland proved everybody wrong and gave Manchester City almost 53 goals in a season. So for me, he has done well to deserve UEFA Men Player of the Year.
And UEFA Women's Player of the Year went to Angie-Tana Bon-Mati. Of course, she is the one that took up the UEFA Women's Player of the Year. It's been an impressive ride down here, Peter. Taking a look at this UEFA Champions League group stage draw, and the guys who won the UEFA award. I think we'll do more of this tomorrow. We'll make a return for as possible. Peter, it's been an interesting time with you this evening.
Thank you so much, Kingsley, for always having me around.
All right, don't forget, Peter, you need to all the pathways to progress. And we can't go without telling you that Erling Braut Haaland, Pep Guardiola, Serena Wigman, and the rest, the UEFA awardees, of course, they are our sport extraordinaire for today's edition of the show. Don't forget, please, you need to all the pathways to progress. My name is Kingsley Mano. Thanks for watching.